What will be on the test? That's a favorite question students, especially high school students, ask their teachers all the time. They want to know what they're going to be responsible for and also what they don't have to bother with if they know what's on the test. But today, as we come here to church, we're not talking about an English or history exam, but the test of life itself. What are we responsible for? What will be on the test? Jesus in the gospel narrows it down to two commandments: love God and love neighbor. I think it was St. Teresa of Calcutta who said that when we stand before the throne of God, the only thing we're going to be judged on is how well we loved. If you read the gospel carefully, you see that Jesus was not asked for the top two commandments, but what was the greatest. But he combined two: love of God and love of neighbor. Some writers say it's like a two-sided coin. It's one with two different aspects. In practical terms, it means we need to look upward to God, but we also have to look to the neighbor, to the other, as to see where we are responsible. John, in his letter that's in the scripture, said it very bluntly. He wrote, "If someone says he loves God but hates his brother or sister, he is a liar. For he cannot love God whom he has not seen if he does not love his brother or sister whom he has seen." Dorothy Day said, "I really only love God as much as I love the person I love the least." Sometimes the love of neighbor focuses on family more than anything else. Sometimes we are successful, sometimes not so successful in dealing with family members. Some time ago, the Dallas Morning News carried a letter from a young woman. It was prompted by the death of her mother. A part of it read, "Mom lived nearby. It would have been easy for me to drop in for a cup of tea and a hug. When I called Mom on the phone, our conversation was brief and hurried. I feel ashamed of the times I cut her short with, 'Sorry, I have to run.' The world is filled with children like me," she wrote. "I hope many of them will see this and profit from it." Today's gospel is an invitation for you and me to take an inventory of our lives and ask ourselves if perhaps we're like the young woman in one way or the other. While person-to-person relationships are important, our love of our brother and sister needs to be examined in social justice terms as well. How well do we reach out with compassion and understanding to the marginalized in our society? Do we support policies and positions that support basic human rights for all? While we usually know the precise day that we'll take a test in school, although I always hated those teachers that would give us unannounced quizzes, some folks know that their test of life is approaching sooner rather than later, maybe because of age or health conditions. But others are faced with a spot quiz with an unexpected or sudden death. In either event, it's safe to say that we already know what's on the test. How have I loved God? How have I loved my neighbor?